It was a majority of the justices on Thursday rewriting Obamacare, disregarding the law, forcing that failed law on millions of Americans, hurting millions of Americans. And then on Friday, the marriage decision was utterly contrary to the Constitution. They're simply making it up. And as Justice Scalia powerfully said in dissent, that decision was an assault on our democracy. It was 5 unelected lawyers setting themselves up, and these are Scalia's words, as the rulers of all 320 million Americans.
That,
it was
but in response to a decision.
All right, illegitimate and wrong, says Senator Cruz. Joining us now is former Senator Alan Simpson, former senator from the great state of Wyoming, former co-chair of the National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility, and member of the U.S. Commission on Presidential Debates. Senator, welcome, sir.
Well, it's always nice to do this, even though it's always, I usually get my foot in it. But go ahead.
No. Let's see. You won't get your foot in. I love talking to you. All right, so you agree with Senator Cruz that the Supreme Court overstepped its bounds on both those rulings last week?
No, I don't. I wonder about Senator Cruz because of his book and what he said about the majority leader of the U.S. Senate, of whom he is a member of the U.S. Senate, not even sticking with him on procedural votes, tearing into Rand Paul. I have no respect for people who do that, and they have to exist in that body. Do you think he's going to get anything done in the U.S. Senate? He hasn't done anything yet except put on a filibuster that cost about $26 billion. So if anybody thinks that Ted Cruz is going to be a responsible legislator where you learn to compromise an issue without compromising yourself, give it up. He's just shot himself completely in the foot and the head.
So you have no respect for him, is what you're saying?
I didn't say that at all.
Okay.
I just said that I don't know how a person can do that when they have to work with the majority leader and the other members of the Senate, and sometimes he doesn't even go to their meetings. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, because you were talking about lacking, not having respect for certain people, then you went into Cruz. Okay, just want to get that clear. But what about
I didn't say that. I didn't say I didn't respect him.
No. You cleared that up. All right. What about the rulings themselves, though? I mean, you think that you don't think that the Supreme Court should have left gay marriage to the states at all?
Well, look, when 37 states have already done it, and then one of our presidential candidates says they're going to have a constitutional amendment to overturn it, well, you have to have 2/3 of each legislative body and 3/4 of the states. Boy, that's like Don Quixote out there with his horse and his spear. You're never going to get it. I don't agree with anything sometimes, but I respect the courts. I'm a lawyer. I've been in courts where I thought, how the hell did I lose this? And you just were downtrodden and disappointed and hurt. But take a look at that decision. It was a tough one, that's for sure. But when 37 states have already agreed to give it, I don't know what the Supreme Court would have done in the process. And it's emotional. Nobody's forcing. People come up to me and said, what do you do? I said, I don't care how other people live. Somebody said, how about the sanctity of marriage? I said, hell, I practiced law in Cody, Wyoming for 18 years and did 1,500 divorces. Don't give me any of that crap.
All right. Well, that's fair enough. I disagree. I think marriage is between a man and a woman, and a lot of those 37 states where it had that shoved down their throats by a judge after they voted as a state. People voted. 17 of them did it by legislature. Now, come on. No, but that's a big difference.
I know you want to go to emotion, fear, guilt.
No. That's a big difference. 17 is a big difference than 37. I mean.
Well. No, but 17 states, if I recall correctly, did it by legislation. I wish they had done it by legislation, but here's the key, Steve. As long as the legislature will not deal with the hot issues, then the courts will. It's that simple. If you won't touch immigration, if you don't touch climate change, if you don't touch gay marriage, if you don't touch this and you don't touch that, and you're a legislature, then I can assure you that there are groups all over America who try these test lawsuits for one purpose. If the legislature won't do it, we'll work our way in the wormwood here and get up into the courts, and they'll do it, and they will.
What about Donald Trump, who's going to participate in the debates? You're a member of the U.S. Commission on Presidential Debates. Do you think his presence in a debate is going to enhance the integrity of it, shall we say, or make it into kind of a circus atmosphere?
Depends on how you feel about Donald Trump. Some people just think he's the hero of the ages and he's going to clean out all these boobs and won't do anything. And others, think this is the Donald who's just a walking ego. Whatever he is, he's going to sure be disruptive to Republicans. It's a disaster for us to have the Donald in there, and especially since he lit the bomb on Mexico and immigration and, calling the Mexicans what he did. That isn't really helpful at all to anybody, regardless of how you feel about the president's decision and when he did the executive order. This guy he's a troublemaker, and he's got ego and he's got bucks, and he's going to create a lot of pain and gas and heartburn.
And when you say a disaster for us, you mean within the context of the debate?
No, with the Republicans.
Yeah, okay, for Republicans. Okay, fair enough. So, but to his comment, the president, we just played a little while ago on the show, the president had said, called some of the immigrants gangbangers. He said we can't let gangbangers come into the country. Isn't every Mexican who comes here illegally automatically a criminal?
Not in my book. I mean,
No?
I was in the immigration thing for years. A lot of them are just trying to get away.
But if they come here illegally, with all due respect, Senator, they broke the law and they're criminals.
Well, okay, they're criminals. 12 million of them here, and they're used and abused and exploited. How's that for a country? You like that idea? You like to see people used, standing out there by the 7-Eleven getting $2, and then when the time comes to get paid, they give them to turn them over to the authorities? Come on, that's not America.
Well, I think America would be sending them back once they break the law.
We send them back, and then they come right back.
Well, then this whole system is broken.
What? That's what I said when we did the Simpson-Mazzoli bill back in the 80s, for God's sake, and the president signed it. And we did things. We said if you've been here a certain length of time, you're going to start a legal process. You got to sign up. You got to go temporary resident. You got to go permanent resident. It didn't work because we couldn't make a more secure identifier. And if you can't have a more secure identifier, you're not going to make the poor old employer the policeman of the earth, so it didn't work.
Well, let me ask you one more. The normalization, to an extent anyway, where we're opening embassies with Cuba, we're exchanging embassies here and there. You think the president's right on that?
Forget, if everybody would clean up their act and just do something, whether it's right or wrong, and not whether they hate Obama, we may make it out of this mess. But if you're just going to vote, whether it's trade or Cuba or anything, if it's just, well, since I hate Obama with a passion, whatever he's for, I'm against. That won't help our country a damn bit.
All right, but are you for it? Are you for the normalization of relations with Cuba?
Hell yes, I was for it when I was there. 90 miles away, you open the door down there and inject capitalism in there. But no.
But Senator, the people are still in jail. While the president was speaking yesterday, Cuba was saying, give us back Guantanamo and keep your broadcasts out of our country. I mean, they're not going to change.
We don't have to keep out of our country. I think Guantanamo is a wonderful place. I think we ought to keep all the kooks in there that we possibly can. But that doesn't have a damn thing to say with a country 90 miles from our shore that we could open an embassy, and I don't like Obama that much, but I'm not going to vote against trade, or I wouldn't have, just because he's for it. This is a mess.
Fair enough.
I hate Obama.
All
that
right.
won't work.
Senator Simpson, great to talk to you. Have a safe, happy 4th of July, and I hope we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much. We're coming back,
enough
folks.
Firecrackers today.
We're coming back, folks. Don't go away.